Tony, good morning. Always good to see you.
Good morning. Nice and early.
First of all, what is ransomware?
Well, ransom is quite simple, isn't it? You go ahead and say, I have something of yours, you want it back? Well, pay me some money. And that's as simple as it is.
Yep.
At cyber level, what we do is the guys go in, they encrypt all your data, which you can't get access to, and say, if you want the key to unlock that data, pay us some money. And that's as simple as it is. Sometimes you get what you want back, in the sense of they give you the key. Sometimes they don't, you never know. And they use things like Bitcoin, and they use normal cryptocurrency to get their payment.
Are companies paying up around the world?
There are some companies. There are some insurance companies as well that will cover you to actually pay that ransom to get your information back. But I think more importantly, what companies should be doing is safeguarding not against the ransomware, but more against the failure or the actual consequence of ransomware. So if you take City Power, for example, how much would it have cost them just to recover their systems versus how much would it have cost them to pay the ransom to get access to their data again? So I think that the actual activity of recovering from a ransomware attack is probably just as important as preventing it from happening in the first place.
Okay, can you recover quickly?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of companies that go out there that spend a lot of time and effort understanding their systems first, so they understand what is going to be impacted, and they design in a secure fashion as opposed to just allowing antivirus or ransomware protection software to keep them going. So it's a combination of the two. It's a balancing act.
Okay, so layman's terms, they send you a virus, you know, what form is it usually?
Majority of the times it comes in an email.
In an email?
Yeah, absolutely.
You click open the email?
Absolutely. Here's an invoice, or you've just been given some money. Here's a delivery mechanism. You know, you click on it, open it up, you know, enter your account details, or and that's just a form of phishing. And in the background, they're installing a little payload, like a little Trojan virus or a little Trojan piece of software. You never know about it, and off you go.
And then you can't access your data.
It encrypts everything,
gone.
yes, it encrypts everything. So the first ones that came around started looking for specific types of data, like your documents, your .doc, .docx, your PDFs, all those type of things. The more sophisticated ones are now looking at database files, as you saw from City Power, locking down all the databases, and it happens extremely quickly. And by the time you look back, it's all been encrypted. First thing you can do is just close it down. Okay. And a lot of the machines, especially on large networks, it spreads incredibly quickly between people.
How sophisticated is it? Where are they originating from mostly?
Well, look, I mean, they get written all over the show. And normally what happens is with all viruses, with most viruses and Trojans, somebody creates some code and then makes it available to all these hacker friends and say, look at the nice code I've got. And then everybody goes and puts their own little signature and starts using that base level of code to create what they want. No
need for Somali pirates anymore. We'll just all go online and do the same thing.
Absolutely right, yes.
Okay, let's talk about Facebook. Okay, so the USA's Federal Trade Commission, FTC, they have announced that Facebook has agreed to pay $5 billion as a fine. It's relating to its user privacy violations. Talk to us a bit about some of those violations. What's that about?
You know, so it's very interesting. I mean, a lot of people have got different emotional feelings around whether Facebook has access to all your personal information and how they make that personal or private information available and what that actual impact is to you. So I think in isolation as an individual, you know, knowing where you've gone. I mean, we had a situation where they were busy scanning through all the WhatsApp messages, and those WhatsApp messages then gave an idea of what to advertise for. So we were having a discussion about hunters and hunting, and less than 5 or 10 minutes later, we were on a web page, and all of a sudden, all our adverts are around, you know, how to train your hunting dog, where you can get your animals and ammunition, etc.
I've always wondered about that.
And this is what they're doing. They're picking it up from, you know, what you're just talking about and looking at all of those little keywords and then creating an advertising campaign. So as an individual, you know, those adverts are there, you know, you just ignore them and you move on. So the actual mechanics of how they get to it is where most of these breaches come from, you know, in the sense of, when I say breach, I mean breaching into my privacy, looking at what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and who else are they selling that information to. And if you look at it from Facebook's perspective, we're talking about how they grabbed a lot of the information of the demographic that exists out on the internet and said, all right, so who do I target, where do I target, what do I tell them? You know, some people react to different words and different phrases separately. You can sell that as information about people, and you have to do that by invading their privacy.
Is it illegal, though? Because we all quickly click, you know, you get to a website or you want to buy something, whatever. There's always a lot of information that we just go past and just say, yeah, click yes, it's fine, I've read all the terms and conditions, and we don't read them.
Well, that's exactly right. So you actually have agreed into, you know, whatever they're making available, you've already agreed to it. I mean, there's that classic joke. Remember remember a couple of weeks back we spoke about Libra, and they were talking about how they're going to keep the Libra cryptocurrency from Facebook separate to everything else.
Yeah.
And all it takes is one little update that says, we've just updated all our terms and conditions, please agree. And then you say agree, and all of a sudden Facebook owns Libra, and Facebook is then controlling Libra, as an example. So we don't look at it, and that means that our regulators have to start looking at that, where they've got a lot more resources available to start pinning in. And our legislation, South Africa being one of them, is so far behind the curve as far as cyber awareness is concerned, that we're going to have a struggle very, very soon unless the government gets on top of it. Otherwise, the private sector is going to start self-regulating, which is dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous. And also for $5 billion for Facebook is really nothing, isn't it?
Well, that's the advertising campaign for a week, I reckon. I'm sure it's nothing compared to what
So
we
they'll
spend.
just carry on doing the same, well, as we were. Let's carry on.
Being a subsidiary of the NSA, I'm sure, yes. But that was a joke, yeah. But still.
Okay. All right, Tony Trollip, thank you so much. Always interesting speaking with you. So now we know exactly what ransomware is. Be careful what you accept. Don't just open emails and all sorts of dodgy things that people send you.